in and cut tens of thousands of jobs in their hometown. I'm saying that Doge cut the jobs, the federal jobs in areas where it trickles down, and you know this. So when you lose tens of thousands of jobs in an area, then that trickles down, because then you don't have those workers going to the nail salons and to the diners and to all that.
I've never heard that Doge cut the diners.
Well, maybe you don't have anyone that works in a diner in your family, but I guarantee
I've never heard that. That's a new one. That's a new one.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel, where we watch CNN so you don't have to. Last night's news night was a masterclass in bad setups, and Scott Jennings was right in the middle of it. Producers sat Scott Jennings down with three of the loudest, most self-righteous liberals you could possibly find. First, Scott Jennings had to push back on their doom and gloom about the economy. Then, without missing a beat, they threw him in a morality purity contest over Confederate statues. But as you'll see, he didn't just survive the ambush, he flipped it right back on him. Let's go.
You know, AP just did a poll. 86% of Americans are stressed, their language, stressed about the cost of living. They're just absolutely stressed about it. Stressed about housing, stressed about food, stressed about their jobs. So what the president is saying is the antithesis of what we're hearing on the streets. And to me, the Republicans are really taking a bad page from the Democrats. I remember Bidenomics is working, Bidenomics is working. Well, it wasn't working. Every day people were telling Democrats that it wasn't working. And I see the Republicans falling into that same trap.
Karl Rove saying exactly the same thing. Karl Rove on TV.
God bless the day that Karl Rove and I would agree on something. Yeah, but no, in the streets, he needs to talk to some people in the streets who really have to make a decision about whether or not they can afford their prescription drugs, or whether or not they can pay their rent, their mortgage, or their food cost.
Scott?
Prices did go up massively during the Biden administration. They went up to a huge number. Now inflation, core inflation, has come down. It was a little below market expectations, in fact. As you noted, some prices are up for some things, some prices are down for others. Gas prices are, in fact, down. The president is just now implementing his economic strategy. He's got his trade strategy. The Congress just implemented the big, beautiful bill, setting tax rates, making them permanent, extending other tax cuts to working class Americans. They're going to have a year and a half to implement this strategy and see if it works. And what happens in next year's elections will largely turn on whether the American people believe we are on the correct trajectory. Not that they're necessarily expecting everything to be solved at that moment, but if they think we're on the right path, that his policies are a better trajectory than the Biden policies, I think Republicans have a chance to outkick their government.
The midterms are...
I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. If people had lower food prices and they had food in their bellies, I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. But it doesn't look like I'm going to get to be okay with it unless something changes.
I want the big, beautiful bill to be beautiful. The question becomes, for whom is it beautiful for? And if we're denying, I know what you said with government control, but are we denying those respondents to the AP poll? Is their pain points not, do they not count?
It'll be beautiful for people who pay taxes because their taxes are not going up. It'll be beautiful for people who use energy because it's going to unleash American energy. It'll be beautiful for people who care about a secure southern border because it massively invests in our infrastructure and ICE agents at the southern border. It'll be beautiful for people who work in the real
If my job
economy.
doesn't have a living wage,
If you don't have
is it beautiful for me?
Beautiful
If your
people
kids
like
are
my
not
grandmother
beautiful.
that depend on their Medicare.
Right.
That's
Is
right.
it beautiful for the...
Medicaid, I mean,
Medicaid.
like, would it be, is it
If you're a
beautiful
lawful
for
saying
all
in
the
Medicaid, you're not
You're not
going
gonna,
to
it's not going to change.
That's bullshit.
But all the stuff that's going up.
Will you come back here? Will you come back here in a year and tell me whether she's lost her Medicaid or not? Because she's not going to.
Oh, that's right.
You know, in response to the lady that looks like Horace Grant, she's right about one thing. If I were answering one of those polls, I'd say I'm stressed about my finances. But you notice the difference? She said she's worried about the economy. I said I'm worried about my finances. Do you see the distinction? Sitting there moaning about the economy ignores reality. Trump inherited a dumpster fire from Joe Biden and a Democrat Party that's fought him at every turn. His strategy hasn't even been allowed to take effect yet because they've thrown up every single obstacle imaginable. All I can control are my own finances. I'm blessed to have a platform to say this, but I'm stressed about my bills. That's on me, not Donald Trump. I'm not looking for a politician to save me. I'm looking to make the most of what I have. Do I think the administration is making the best of the mess they were handed? Absolutely. But more importantly, I know that God's got a plan for me, and that's where I find my peace. Back to it.
The number of people who say the economy is getting better is up from the same point in the inauguration. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. A lot of people say it's getting worse.
Depends on what income level you're at. right? That's the problem here. It's like if you are in the upper percentile, then this is great for you. But if you are a working class American, where manufacturing jobs are being lost by the tens of thousands, where small businesses are closing because of Donald Trump's erratic tariff policy, where the diner waitress her diner has closed because Donald Trump and Doge came in and cut tens of thousands of jobs in their hometown. I'm saying that Doge cut the jobs, the federal jobs in areas where it trickles down, and this. So when you lose tens of thousands of jobs in an area, then that trickles down, because then you don't have those workers going to the nail salons and to the diners and to all that.
I've never heard that Doge
Not
cut the
really. Well,
diners.
maybe you don't have anyone that works in a diner in your family, but I guarantee
I've
you.
never heard that. That's a new one. That's a new one.
Well, I'm happy to educate you, Scott, about what happens when you cut thousands of jobs in your town.
Van's going to take us to break.
That's right.
I'll make a corollary here. And to repower those things and those images is to me, saying the opposite of that. But here's the difference. I'm not about to cry over the statue. You know why? Because we're not scared no more. We're not afraid. We never really were. We're not afraid of statues. We're not afraid of the cultural terrorists. Our eyes are wide open in terms of what America means for us. And if the president and his administration want to cozy up to the worst parts of American history, we see them. Point blank, period.
But they should be asked why they're
I
okay
agree
with
with you
it.
that lost cause statues that were put up that were intended to terrorize Black Americans well after the horrors of the Civil War, it's inappropriate.
Terry, and Scott, you're really quiet on this. I would love to hear your perspective.
Let me say this. Go, Scott, quickly, if you want to get in.
Yeah, a few things. I don't agree with the destruction of public property.
It's not what we're talking about.
Number one. Number two, I generally have believed that Confederate statues, however and wherever they've been put up, I know there's a lot of people that would say they put them up for different reasons. I'm a supporter of museums. I like museums. I like when museums tell the full story of American history. I don't have any problem at all with problematic statues being put in museums. I do like the idea of a process being followed. This one in Arlington, Brad's right, Arlington is a complicated place, and what the ground was and what the grounds were originally, it is complicated. So my general view is that I want to celebrate as much as possible the Union. I come from Kentucky, and yes, we did birth both presidents of the Confederacy and the United States, but I'm a Lincoln guy, and I tend to be a Union supporter. I want as much Union praise and Union generals and Union soldiers as possible.
Not okay with what Pete Hegseth is doing, because
He sounded like you're uncomfortable, but not sure.
I don't know how he arrived at the decision. My personal view is it statues like that
So does it romanticize
would probably be best in a museum. That's
All right.
my
Okay,
general-
We're
well,
gonna leave
you
it there.
said
We're gonna leave it.
romanticizing the Confederacy that has plagued this state for far too long is something we wish to not engender. So I hope that you still believe that, because you wrote that in
I
2015.
literally just said I would
But you-
rather the Confederate statues be in a
But
museum.
you won't say that they should not put it back.
I literally just said the statue should be in a museum.
Hard to
Okay.
agree with.
Have you ever seen a segment that's more of a setup than this one, and you just know the producers were licking their chops? Like, hey, Scott, here's the plan. Let's put you in a room with three of the griftiest hucksters in cable news, and oh, by the way, your topic is racist Confederate statues. Go. I mean, can it be any more obvious about it? I hope they're paying Scott a lot of money. It was like they were staging a dog fight, 3 attack dogs foaming at the mouth, just circling, waiting to pounce. Scott looks around like, hey guys, why do we have to come all the way out? Guys? And he turns back, and cowboy hat, glasses lady, and the blonde bombshell are there ready to unload on him. And I want to just respond to something Van Lathan said. He said, we're not scared anymore. We never were. Well, that's for sure. The party you support tears down cities when you're offended by something, and your politicians cheer it on. You are definitely fully agree, not scared of authority, even when it's lawful, because you complain about it, break it, and profit from telling Black Americans that they can't get ahead. And maybe I'm wrong. So you guys correct me out there if I'm wrong, and I'll apologize. But when he says we know where Black people stand, that sounds an awful lot like you're saying Black Americans are second-class citizens in 2025 in the United States of America. Okay, for the record, I don't care about statues. If something was put out tomorrow that said, I hate white people, I promise you, I wouldn't care. I'd talk about it. I'd laugh about the hypocrisy, but I just go on with my life. What I care about, and I think most on the right care about, is trashing the country because your feelings are hurt. And Van, saying you're not crying over statues is one of the silliest things I've ever heard. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if you and your political allies hadn't thrown such a fit that people ran around vandalizing and destroying monuments all over the country. If you hate a statue that much, fine, go through the proper channels. I can't even fathom what the process for taking a statue down would be because I don't have time to think about that. And that right there might be the biggest difference between people like you and people like me. You have the luxury of thinking about stuff like this. I have a life. Anyway, that's it for this video. No announcements other than please follow me on X. I have a lot of really interesting things to say. Subscribe to my second channel, The Dispatch Wire, and do all your Amazon shopping through my affiliate links. And by the way, I saw somebody did that. I think just one person made a purchase through it, and I appreciate it so much. $1.67 that I didn't have before, and that I say that with zero levity. I'm very grateful for whoever that was. Thank you so much. It's such an easy way to support the show. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. I know your time is valuable and I appreciate it. Never forget Jesus loves you. See you guys.